that him? Is that him? Yes! Open the door! Oh my God. Try. Oh my God. Just try. Stop! Wait, let them go! Let them go!
Hey, pull over. Pull over. Hey, leave it.
Get out of here.
Leave it up.
Get out of here. No. Y'all just let him leave. It's not working. Hey! Sir! We don't know him. Stop it.
Let him out.
American liberals walking the streets, attacking any conservative that they see. Welcome to Wake Up America show, thrill seekers, conversationalists, independent thinkers, and all of you beautiful deplorables currently huddled in the bunker of freedom while the world loses its collective stinking mind. Welcome to the cutting edge of societal decline. Welcome back to the audio sanctuary where sanity is still legal, at least for now. It is Wednesday, January the 21st. In the year of our Lord 2026. And folks, I have to tell you, the smell of fear this morning is potent. It's distinct. It smells like overpriced oat milk lattes and anxiety sweat. And it's coming directly from Silicon Valley. You know, usually when the elites panic, it's because the stock market crashed or because a Republican won an election. But this morning they are panicking because they think the game itself is over. Reading the Wall Street Journal yesterday, the paper of record for people who think a recession is when their yacht has to be dry docked for repairs. And the headline stopped me cold. Why the tech world thinks the American dream is dying. Now, you and I might think the American dream is dying because inflation is eating our paychecks or because the schools are teaching our kids to hate their ancestors. But no, that's peasant thinking. The geniuses in Palo Alto are terrified because they believe artificial intelligence is about to make money, cash, moolah, the almighty dollar, worthless. They call it the post-scarcity world. Elon Musk calls it the age of abundance. He's the most white-pilled of all of them. Sam Altman, he's ditching universal high income. Why? Let me translate this into English for you. They think that you are obsolete. They are panic buying vast quantities of gold. They're buying farmland. Mark Zuckerberg bought a gigantic estate out in Hawaii, a cattle farm with lots of burps and farts and carbon being created, I imagine. They're buying art. And it's because that they believe that the ladder is being pulled up. They think that in 5 years, the only people who will matter are the people who own the robots. And the rest of us are just supposed to sit in our pods, eat the bugs, put on our VR goggles, and wait for our government allowance. They want to turn the American citizen into the American pet. Well, I have news for Sam Altman. I have news for the technocrats planning our obsolescence from their glass towers. We are not pets. We are not code to be debugged. We are Americans, and we don't wait for a handout. We build, we fight. And today, we're going to talk about how to beat them at their own game. We aren't going to let them foreclose on the American dream just because they built a chat bot that can write a mediocre haiku, okay? But if you think the tech panic is the only fire burning today, buckle up, okay? Because the libertarian movement, my people, the people who are supposed to be the tip of the spear, have been asleep at the wheel. For 50 years, we have been paralyzed by the non-aggression principle. We have been so afraid of being mean that we let the statists bulldoze our nice libertarian American civilization. Well, the era of the nice libertarian is over. Jeremy Kauffman is here today from the Free State Project. And he's the guy that the libertarian media loves to hate. The Beltway elites love to hate. The regime libertarians love to hate. And he's bringing the flamethrower. So we're going to talk about Libertarian Nationalism. We're going to talk about the Javier Milei strategy. We're going to ask the hard question. Is the non-aggression principle a moral code or is it a suicide pact? If you're tired of losing with dignity, you need to hear Jeremy at 7:30 this morning, 20 minutes from now, okay? But it's not all doom and gloom. Because down in Kentucky, the turtle is trembling. Mitch McConnell thought that his handpicked successor had the Senate race in the bag. He thought the establishment had won again. Enter the disruptor. Enter Elon Musk with the power of Doge. News broke yesterday. And Doge got broken apart, Austin. Maybe the power of something other than Doge. News broke yesterday that the richest man in the world has dropped a $10 million warhead into the Kentucky Senate primary. And he didn't give it to the establishment hack. He gave it to the rebel. He gave it to the outsider. He gave it to Nate Morris. And guess which show this morning has Nate Morris on? Nate Morris joins us live at 8:30 a.m. Central. He's the tech entrepreneur who's taken on the McConnell machine. Buddies with J.D. Vance. He's backed by Elon Musk. And he's running to end the era of the rhino. The empire is striking back, folks, but the rebels just got a Death Star of their own. If you only knew the power. Support the Coffee Strong, guys. Put on your armor. Ignore the robot that tells you you're obsolete. The revolution isn't being televised. It's being live streamed right here, right now. Right now. Hey, I'm Austin Petersen. This is Wake Up America, and we are rolling. Can you bless me with something? Oh, gosh.
Can you bless me with something?
Oh, gosh.
Money-wise. Please.
Can you suck it?
Don't forget, we do have bonus content available for unlocking today. And the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network and the Libertarian Nationalist platform is worth your donation dollars. Not just a donation. When you support the Wake Up America show, you're supporting 4 shows, adding a 5th show, Cafecito Libre, coming very soon. We're going to connect South American libertarians with North America. Unfortunately, we have to import Javier Milei's Argentine winning form of libertarianism into the United States because we can't seem to produce our own here in the United States. So we're going to have a fantastic trip this year to Boston for people who are a member of our Petersen's Patriots crew. If you are in on the inside with the Petersens Patriots and the For Liberty Network, we want to see you in Boston, May 1st and 2nd. My brother Justin, my wife Stephanie, and myself will be hosting a Liberty tour to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States where it happened. Walk the cobblestone roads where the Revolutionary Patriots planned the war that would win the American Republic. Join us, Frank and Beans. Join us. Join me, Quest Fanning, Andy Opperman, and more in Boston, May 1st and 2nd. But Austin, where do I get the trip details? You just go to forlibertyshop.com, baby. You just drinking Mountain Dew, baby. Go to forlibertyshop.com. At the top of forlibertyshop.com, you'll see all the details. But guys, time is running out because if you want to bring a crew, you got 2 days, 16 hours to get those group discount tickets using the code Boston25. The group discount expires in 2 days, 16 hours. Save 25% on tickets with the code Boston25. The offer is ending soon. Do not shirk. Do not wait. Book those tickets. Meet me, Stephanie, Justin, and other Revolutionary Patriots in Boston, May 1st and 2nd. The Wake Up America show is building the new liberty movement, and we're building it around the For Liberty Network, and it's thanks to the contributions of people like yourself. So unlock the bonus content, go shopping, buy some Boston tickets, upgrade with the merch package, and help me and Stephanie to change the world because we can do it. All I need are 800 people who are actively donating, supporting, contributing. Right now we have about 100 to 150 people, but by the end of 2026, my pledge is to have 800 people on our team. If you believe in these ideas, help me make it happen. You know I'm earnest. You know I'm true. And you know I'll continue the fight. I want to start this morning, though, by taking you inside the minds of the people who think that they rule the world. I want to take you to the coffee shops in San Francisco and the dinner parties in Palo Alto, because right now, while you're worried about the price of diapers and eggs or formula or the riots in Minneapolis, getting dragged out of your car for someone finding out you're a conservative, the tech overlords are panicked about something completely different than what you and I deal with, right? They aren't worried about losing money. They are worried that money itself is about to become worthless. So I have an article from the Wall Street Journal. It's frankly one of the most terrifying things I've read in years. The headline is, "Why the Tech World Thinks the American Dream is Dying," and it details a new obsession in Silicon Valley. They're calling it the last chance. The theory goes like this. We're about to hit a point with artificial intelligence where labor becomes irrelevant, where robots do everything better than you. And when that happens, the economy as we know it, the idea of working hard, saving money, and building a life disappears. They believe we're entering a post-scarcity world, a world where money has no meaning because AI provides everything. Elon Musk calls it an age of abundance. Sam Altman has called it a future of universal high income. But if you read between the lines, what they are actually saying is that the ladder is being pulled up. They are saying that if you don't make your millions right now in this tiny window before the AI takeover, you will be a part of a permanent underclass. And they are scrambling to buy hard assets, gold, land, art, because they believe that the digital dollars in your bank account are about to turn into monopoly money. So it's the ultimate fear of missing out. And it reveals exactly what Silicon Valley thinks of you. They don't see you as participants in the future. They see you as pets to be kept. Now, not every billionaire agrees on how this plays out, and understanding their disagreement is going to be the key to understanding your own future. So on one side, you have the central planners. This is the Sam Altman wing of the party. The CEO of OpenAI has been going around Washington and the World Economic Forum proposing things like universal basic compute and massive wealth redistribution. He says things like people need to feel like they have a voice, but his solution is always the same. The AI does the work, the AI generates the wealth, and the government sends you a check to keep you quiet. So this is the Wall-E future, if you've seen that movie. You sit in the chair, you drink your soda, and you let the machine take care of you. But then you have the other side, and this is where it gets interesting. If you look at Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, he's out there saying the exact opposite. He says AI isn't going to make you obsolete. It's going to make you a superhero. He says everyone is a programmer now. He believes that this technology is the great equalizer. In his view, a plumber with an AI assistant can run a multinational business. A kid in a garage with an AI coder can build the next Facebook. And I actually agree with Jensen Huang on this. And for those of you who are a member of my AI course, where I teach weekly courses on artificial intelligence, will know this is true. And this Thursday, we've got an incredible class for our students who are part of my online course. So if you're interested in joining, the details are also on the front page of forlibertyshop.com. So visit forlibertyshop.com if you're interested in taking my private course. So this is the fundamental conflict of our time. Is AI a tool that empowers the individual to build their own American dream, or is it a replacement for the individual that requires the state to become our daddy? The elites in San Francisco, mostly, they're betting on the second option. They're betting that you are too stupid, too lazy, and too slow to compete. So they're betting that you will happily trade your freedom for a universal high-income stipend. They're buying the castle, and they're expecting you to be happy living in the servants' quarters. Now, I want to get philosophical for a minute, because this is the part that the technocrats never understand. There's a man named Arthur Brooks. He's a brilliant intellectual who talks about a concept called earned success. He says that happiness doesn't come from having money. If I wrote you a check for $1 million today, you'd be happy for a month, but you wouldn't be fulfilled. Fulfillment comes from knowing that you created value, that you did something hard, that you earned your place in the world. This is why the universal basic income pitch is poison. It attacks the very root of human dignity. So when Sam Altman says AI will do everything and will just pay you, he's stealing your purpose. He's telling you that you are unnecessary. In a society of unnecessary people, that is a dangerous society. It's a society that rots from the inside out. We see it already. Look at the young men who are dropping out of the workforce. They're playing video games all the time. They have universal basic income from their parents' basements. Are they happy? No. They are depressed, they are angry, and they are nihilistic. I know this firsthand. I myself enjoy the odd video game from time to time. I listen to these men and young men in the chat, and some of them even middle-aged and mine playing Battlefield 6. And I hear their voices. They screaming obscenities, shouting obscenities all the time. And when you're a young man and you're playing Call of Duty, you hear people talking like that, you don't really think about what it means about the psychology of the people that you're dealing with here. But what you have are a group of people who are under a pressure cooker in their real lives. And then when they get into a situation where they can be in a virtual world, they talk to people like what their insides, what's going on in their insides, suddenly explodes out on the outsides. And certainly it's not true for everyone, but there is a lot of deep, dark insanity out there in this world that you may not notice if you don't interact with this group online. These people are very deeply depressed. You can hear it in their voices. You can hear how they talk and treat other people. They're extremely angry, right? And they don't believe in anything. Nothing matters to them. Nothing is true. Those are the people who are going to be glad to take that universal basic income. These are the people who are going to sell all of our freedoms. It's like Jacob and Esau. They're going to sell this American birthright of liberty and of self-determination and of sovereignty for a universal basic income check. Watch them. They'll be the traitors. They'll be the ones who sell out the American dream. The American dream was never about money. It was about the pursuit of happiness. It was about the struggle. If you take away the struggle, you take away the soul of the country. The tech world thinks, Silicon Valley thinks, that the American dream is dying because they measure it in dollars. They think that if they give you enough digital credits, you won't mind that you have no agency. They are wrong. You're not a mouth to be fed. You're a builder. And the moment that we accept their free money is the moment that we admit that we are no longer free men. Can I get an amen? Nah. So is the dream dead? Is this really the last chance? I say no, but the American dream is definitely changing. The old dream of go to college, get a corporate job, retire at 65 with a gold watch and a pension, that's dead. AI is going to shred the middle management of corporate America, and that has been a long time coming. If your job is sending emails and moving spreadsheets, you should absolutely be worried. But the new American dream, the dream of the builder, that is more alive than ever. If Jensen Huang is right of NVIDIA, and I think he is, then we are entering the age of the super individual. The tools to build a business, to create art, to engineer a product, they are now essentially free. You don't need millions of venture capital anymore. You just need an idea and the will to work. The elites are panic buying gold because they're afraid of the future. I want you to attack the future. Don't buy this narrative that you are obsolete. Use their tools against them. Build a microculture in your community. I'm building a microculture here at rumble.com. 81 people joining us live. It's a microculture. Build your own microculture. 81 people can do a lot. Start a business that solves a real problem in the physical world, because guess what? AI can't fix a leaky pipe. And AI can't comfort a grieving friend. Turns out that Stephanie's therapy won't be replaced by robots. Silicon Valley, the elites of this world want you to be a passive consumer of their abundance. They want you to live in the pot and eat the bugs. You will own nothing and be happy. They will have lots of land. They will have beautiful houses. But the truth is that if you take control now, you can be an active producer of your own destiny, right? Let them hide in their bunkers in New Zealand. We've got a country to build. The American dream isn't dying. It's just waking up. And it's going to look a lot different than the spreadsheet pushers in Silicon Valley expect. All right. Agency. I've got an incredible show for you today. I've got Jeremy Kauffman, no Judge Napolitano today. Sorry about that. I know that you guys want to hear from the judge, but he couldn't make it today. He had a conflict. No. We will have Judge Napolitano again next week, but we have Nate Morris today on the show, Jeremy Kauffman coming up next, and we need to get that bonus content unlocked. Here's my recommendation for you guys. Head over to forlibertyshop.com. The number one top selling product over at forlibertyshop.com, the number one engine of our growth has been our Jeffersonian Java coffee. Let me tell you why it is sweet and delicious. When people go to forlibertyshop.com and they buy our Jeffersonian Java, they also come over here and they leave us customer reviews, okay? Look at all these reviews. 5 stars, 5 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. Has become one of my favorite coffees. Great coffees. I decided to F around and find out. The reviews themselves are also pretty hilarious. So love this light roast coffee. Crisp, complex, finishes clean, and packed with caffeine. Find out why everybody loves Austin Petersen's Founding Flavors coffee. If you go to forlibertyshop.com, there's a coffee button. You click it, it will take you to the coffee page. If you've never bought Austin Petersen's For Liberty Shop, the Founding Flavors coffee, here's what I recommend. Many people, they get thrown by the paradox of choice. I've helped you with this, okay? The paradox of choice is solved. You don't have to worry, do I buy this one or that one or Martha's Mint or Culture Raw? This, here it is, the bundle. Just buy the bundle of my top 3 favorites, get the discount, choose whether you want ground or whole bean for your 3 from my top 3 favorites, my recommendations. Order the bundle, try them all, decide which one you like the best, and then come back and subscribe to the one that you like the best. And then your coffee needs are solved. Andy Opperman, he's spoiled. He has to bring Founding Flavors coffee with him when he goes on the road because hotel coffee is terrible. And if you like good coffee and you're sick of not only the flavor of Starbucks, but you're also sick of the fact that when you buy Starbucks, you're sending money to companies that hate you, okay? Stop it. Don't send your money to corporations that hate you. Spend your money where it matters. You can make an impact in the world. When you buy 3 boxes of Founding Flavors coffee at a discount, you're making an impact in the world. Jeremy Kauffman's making an impact, and that's why a lot of people hate him. We're going to talk to Jeremy Kauffman about why the non-aggression principle has failed us. We'll be right back. It's the Wake Up America show, and you're watching, what's it called? Oh, the For Liberty Network.
Picture this. It's 1776. Thomas Jefferson is hunched over his desk at Monticello, ink-stained fingers, writing the most radical document in human history. Do you really think he was sipping Starbucks? No. He was drinking something bold, something black, something brewed strong enough to fuel a revolution. That's the spirit behind Founding Flavors, our signature line of liberty-fueled coffee. No soy froth, no climate guilt, no corporate slogans, just real coffee, inspired by the men who wrote freedom into existence. Every cup is a quiet protest. Against mediocrity, against tyranny, against bad coffee. So this morning, skip the globalist brew. Grab something worthy of a free man's sunrise. Founding Flavors. Now brewing at forlibertyshop.com. Legend has it, back in 1773, a band of angry, overtaxed patriots stormed a British ship, found the king's favorite tea, and said, "This would taste better without the tyranny." Then they tossed it overboard. Fast forward to today. That revolutionary spirit lives on in Boston Harbor Black, the boldest brew in the For Liberty tea lineup. It's dark, it's smooth, it's unapologetically American, just like the folks who drink it. Whether you're sweetening it up on the front porch or drinking it straight like a Minuteman before battle, this isn't tea for royalty, it's tea for rebels. No fake flavors, no corporate slogans, just a cold glass of Don't Tread on Me in liquid form. So skip the woke iced tea aisle and stock up on Boston Harbor Black at forlibertyshop.com. Because when the heat's rising, the least you can do is drink like a patriot.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
if there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian, and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.
Welcome back to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Petersen. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's time to rise and freedom. Click the like button, and if today's your first time watching the Wake Up America show, a follow would be most appreciated. When you click the follow button over on Rumble, you get a notification on your Rumble app, which lets you know when we are live. But just so you know, we're live every 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time is the show schedule. This is a great way to get your news, maybe have a little laugh, and start your morning with a little white pill. No black pills here on the Wake Up America show. Although we are going to talk about a difficult topic that might, I don't know, make some people feel black-pilled, but I'm sure we'll find some solutions. For 50 years, the American libertarian movement has been obsessed with one thing, the non-aggression principle, the NAP. It is a beautiful philosophical idea. It says it is immoral to initiate force against anyone. And in a civilized world, that is how we should live. But we do not live in a civilized world. We live in a world where our political enemies want to destroy us, strip our children of their innocence, stab us with their vaccines without consent, tax us into oblivion. And while the left has been ruthlessly using the state to crush dissent, libertarians have been paralyzed, terrified. If they fight back, they might be violating a dogma. But look south, look at Argentina. Javier Milei, he didn't win by being polite. He didn't win by quoting Rothbard in a library. He won by wielding a chainsaw. He proved that libertarian nationalism, a strategy that uses state power to dismantle state power, is the only way to win. The NAP cannot be a suicide pact. If you're being punched in the face, the moral action isn't to debate the ethics of violence. The moral action is to hit back harder. Joining me now is a man who's never been afraid to throw the first punch, a board member of the Free State Project and the provocateur behind the most effective messaging in the liberty movement. Jeremy Kauffman, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Austin, it's great to be here with you, as always.
Jeremy, talk to us a little bit about what's happening in the liberty movement in the United States. It seems to be something of the Ottoman Empire, right? That we're sort of like the Turks. We're the sick man of Europe, but we're the sick movement of the United States, are we not?
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, certainly you and I both get in these arguments with other libertarians, online. I don't know. To me, I'm not advocating for anything like that would be, quote, aggression, right? And this is part of the problem, I think, is that these sort of NAP obsessed libertarians, I've heard them called NAPtists. My position isn't that we should be using a lot of aggression. My position is that a lot of this is self-defense. Like the NAP, as you said, the NAP is not a suicide pact. I think that's a very good way of putting it. So anything that would, quote, break the NAP, that is required to maintain a society that attempts to follow it, is not itself, a violation. And so I I think so. I don't think I'm violating the NAP, but a lot of these other people would say that it is violating the NAP to enforce a country's borders. And it's like you don't have a country if you don't enforce your borders. You don't have rule of law. You don't have Western civilization. You don't have any of these great things that we like. So that's self-defense to me. That's not a NAP violation.
I mean, they would say that they are anarchists, that they don't believe in national borders, that the nation state itself is an act of aggression. Jeremy, you know quite well how these people view the concept of national borders. You know quite well how people like Chase Oliver and the Cato Institute and Reason Magazine look at our concepts of sovereignty. They look at people like you and I as racists because we do believe in borders and we do want to prevent people from coming to the United States who have anti-libertarian ideals. So how do we square that circle?
Well, to me, I don't like something that I think the right has gotten wrong at times is they let leftists enter, rightists leave. I think this is a common phenomenon. So leftists will enter an institution and the right will walk away from it. And to me, I am absolutely still squarely a libertarian. I want to have the strongest possible private property rights. I like society being as voluntary as possible. What I'm not is a utopian. And I don't believe that you can get the society that you want by simply going, oh, it's just the NAP. It's just the NAP. Because these people who say, libertarianism is just the NAP, they also believe that doing literally anything is somehow a violation of it. And so, I think a lot of these people, they want to feel smug. They want to feel like they're better than the people who are actually doing things and attempting to make a difference. And they want to feel smug while doing basically nothing. Like these people have no plan. Part of the reason I get in these, fights or these discussions online is like, I'm trying to build a certain brand for New Hampshire style libertarianism. I'm trying to encourage libertarians to check out and visit, New Hampshire, because the libertarians in New Hampshire tend to think, much closer, I think, to the way that I do than they do, apparently in many other parts of the country. But I don't even know what these people want. Like they have no ends. They have no ability to get the ends that they want. They just want to complain online about what libertarians like you and I are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Which means that we're probably onto something. Whenever people aren't complaining about what I'm doing, I think I need to change my strategy because I must not be very effective. It's usually when people start screaming at me and posting screenshots and like attacking me for Gary Johnson having thrown my gun in the trash in 2016 that I'm finally making the right people angry. But let's talk about strategy for a moment here, because I've been calling this libertarian nationalism, and I'm telling you, it's resonating. I've been calling hundreds, maybe thousands of people so far on the phone in the last month trying to rally support for this idea. People love it. And then I talk about Javier Milei. He wrapped himself in the flag. He rallied the patriots. And then he used executive power to fire bureaucrats. Is that the blueprint? Is nationalism a necessary vehicle to deliver liberty?
I mean, I would absolutely call myself a libertarian nationalist. I think basically all free staters here, which is a word for libertarians in New Hampshire, basically already are libertarian nationalists. That's our mission. We want a libertarian nation one day. That's what we're ultimately trying to, achieve in New Hampshire. So I'm probably a little bit more skeptical than you are that it would work at the national level, but I'd take the shot for sure. And if that's a term that allows us to attract the right people and repel these people who are quite frankly spiritual communists. Like they might call themselves libertarians, but they are spiritual communists. And by that I mean they're full of envy, they're full of jealousy, and their psychology is bitter and it wants to tear things down. And unfortunately, libertarianism is a political philosophy that some of these people can find themselves attracted to, because you get to hate the government, you get to hate the man, you get to call other people bootlickers, and all authority is wrong, and you're allowed to break the rules and be an antisocial person because it's the state, and so you don't have to be pro-social. And it's like and I'll be honest, there's some of these people in New Hampshire. I don't get along with them, and I don't want to be attracting these people to the philosophy that I'm interested in achieving in the real world. And so if libertarian nationalism as a term, that might be the right one to attract the right types and repel the wrong ones.
It certainly does. It's a potent cocktail because it invites all of those MAGA, America-loving, patriotic Americans who maybe they have normal families and they want to, they don't want to be chastised for flying the American flag in their own cities, or feel like they're going to get ripped out of their cars in American cities like Minneapolis, St. Paul. But you're identifying essentially, like you talk about being spiritually communist. you're identifying here the importance of the culture of liberty. You had said once on X that you wouldn't want to be a part of a group, maybe it was the Libertarian Party, or if it can't attract or retain people like Austin Petersen. So what did you mean by that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with these libertarians who somehow think it's people like you and me in the way. And that's telling of their own internal psychology. Because I don't see, by the way, I don't see these people as, and I don't think you do either. These people aren't in the way of what we're trying to do. It's a little bit annoying to have them like yapping at us, but they're not holding us back. Right. They're not in the way. These people, because their psychology is when, you know, the type of person, everyone has these people in their lives. There's always something going wrong. They always have a complaint. Their boss is always being mean to them. You know, there's always something going wrong in their relationship. You know, it's like, you know what the common element here is? It's you. It's you. Thomas Sowell has this quote about like, everyone wants a political philosophy that lets them blame someone else.
Yes.
You know, and this is, and I didn't get the quote exactly right, so feel free to give it if you know it. But like and this is libertarianism does. Oh, it's the state. The state is the government's the reason your life is wrong. And like this is this spiritual bitterness. People with this type of spiritual bitterness, they never get anywhere in life. They never achieve anything in life, and all they do is drag down the things that they're a part of. So this psychology has to be repelled. You can't recruit it. You don't want these people in your, in any kind of movement that you're building.
So the NAP, the non-aggression principle, it's kind of the golden calf of our movement, but has it become a trap? Why are so many libertarians afraid to wield power to destroy their enemies?
Yeah, so I do think so this is where I do think it's become a trap because, and I think the reason it's a bit of a trap is, doesn't it feel, it's right? It feels so good to be superior by doing nothing. Like, what a great offer. Like, I get to sit here in my house and condemn you for acting, and I'm better than you by not acting. Like, what a great deal. Yeah. I get to feel better than you, and I don't have to do anything. You can understand why this is, an appealing offer to people. I guess, and they'll throw some of the things they'll say is, oh, well, Jeremy, you're being like consequential. So it's like, yeah, yes, I am. Like I want to I want to live in a society that, quote, honors the NAP as much as possible, but I want to do things that get me to that place. Okay, the NAP is not my religion where if I lead the most naptest life, at the end I go to nap heaven at the end of my life. Like, nap Jesus is not going to come down and be like, you did it, Jeremy. Like, that is not what's going to happen. That's not what's going to happen when I pass away. And so I am interested in taking actions that move the ball forward, that make society and the world closer to the type that I would want it to be. And if you're going to claim that I'm violating some deontological principle in doing so, it's just like, get the hell out of here, because the real world is messy and there are constantly trade-offs in all these decisions that we have to make. Like, I don't love the way that immigration enforcement works in the United States, but I know that the consequences of having 15 million people here illegally, almost none of which are libertarians, is certainly worse than not doing this. And it's like, you got to give me a NAP compliant way. It's the same, I see you're a bigger on, your foreign history and your history of wars and conflicts better than I do, although I'm not, a complete idiot about this stuff. But you see the same types when these people discuss, like, every act that happens in every war, is a NAP violation. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, but wars have happened. Like, if you can't tell me how this is supposed to be solved in the real world, I'm just not interested in your answer. You give me a better way. Well, and this isn't me defending all of Americans. No. But
here's the thing that really just has been irking me in recent years as I consider and reconsider my views on things, and I'm willing to change my mind if evidence comes in. But I have read almost every piece of libertarian open border literature. I've read almost every libertarian piece of anti-war literature. I read all of the criticisms of Winston Churchill, the hate from the Mises Institute for Alexander Hamilton. I read all of it, right? And then I reread it, and then I read the counter opinions. And here's my problem. Sheikh Adalmia, Reason Magazine, writes a defense of open borders. And in the opening paragraphs of this paper, which is all about the free market and the government not getting involved in our business, blah, 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 which I agree with. But in the opening paragraphs, she states very explicitly that that doesn't mean anyone can come here for if they're a security threat or a disease risk. And it makes me go, but then they never explain what those security protocols would look like. And anybody who talks about a security protocol or is violating the NAP. And conversely, you and I know that sometimes we get in trouble for this, but we can sometimes criticize Ron Paul even. So his rhetoric was always, if we go to war, we should do so constitutionally. We should declare war, win it, and then come home. But then anytime you talk about the tactics that are necessary to win a war, it's a NAP violation. You're an evil warmongering statist. And Scott Horton, Dave Smith will do podcasts, angry podcasts about you. But which frankly, it just strikes me as like there's a retardation. And in some ways, Jeremy, if Chase Oliver is woke left, and I really think he is, there's also kind of, with the foreign policy and the whole NAP thing, there's kind of a woke right. There's a retardation there, Jeremy. There is, the don't tread on me snake has no fangs. As soon as you act in your own self-defense, people call it a NAP violation. As soon as you act to secure the border from a disease or in following with Sheikh Adalmia's views, you're violating the NAP. So what's to believe? What's to suss here, Jeremy? Do you understand my frustrations? Do you share these views?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Like I don't think libertarian theory has clear answers for how should you ever need to conduct a war. We can say, a bunch of these wars shouldn't have happened, and the American government wanted to get in them and whatever. And I would agree with plenty of these criticisms, but there are times that these conflicts happen, and it is not clear that you can fight a war with zero harm to, quote, innocence. And this doesn't mean that therefore, the United States should have dropped firebombs on Dresden or whatever. But like but again, like you've got to debate these things. The only answers to these questions are consequential. Like once they've happened, right? The only lens to view this is consequential. Did my nation win the war or not? If you want to say, the United States could have won this war, could have won this conflict without doing these things, and you have an alternative path to victory, that's an argument I'll hear. But yes, some of these, I don't know if I would call them woke specifically, but yes, some of the anti-war right is just everything the United States government has done in every foreign conflict is wrong. I'm like, okay, I think a lot of it probably is wrong. But if you can't say what should have happened, you're effectively, to me, to some extent, saying at least some of the time.
But the best of our propagandists do, Jeremy. So if you listen to like Scott Horton or Dave Smith, they're always Kobayashi Maru. They'll be able to find some data point from history. They'll say, well, if Richard Nixon hadn't done this, then LBJ wouldn't have done that, and Eisenhower wouldn't have built the roads in the 50s. And it relies on the audience being ignorant because foreign policy is highly technical, and most people aren't very good at geography, including libertarians, Jeremy. And so when you really start getting into the nitty-gritty details, what we have are a few sages, you might say, 2 or 3 people that everyone sort of outsources their foreign policy views to, and it's God's honest truth, because you saw it on, the Part of the Problem podcast, and it's another Scott Horton, Tom Woods, Circle Jerk podcast. So it's just a little frustrating because I'm sort of convinced by the MAGA-tarianism. I'm convinced by the Donald Trump speak loudly and carry a big stick form of diplomacy, because you see this, for example, now in Europe. He's literally threatening to violate Greenland's NAP, but I don't think he actually wants to go to war. I think he's lying and he wants to buy Greenland for national defensive purposes. But the weirdo, never Trumpers and people like Dave Smith is freaking out because we bombed Iran. And it's like, dude, the guy is getting fucking results. The guy is like achieving libertarian ends. He's not a neocon going in and like making the world safe for democracy and bringing all these liberal institutions to like rebuild their countries. He's just black bagging the communist. Am I supposed to cry, Jeremy Kauffman, because the CIA pointed to some Bolivarian where to shoot where Che Guevara was so that they could kill that murdering, nasty, homosexual, cleansing, but the butcher of La Cabana? Am I supposed to cry over communists being black bagged in third world countries? And why are they so concerned with the sovereignty of foreign countries and not our own, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably view some of this stuff as maybe a bit more of a mixed bag than you would, but I definitely don't. I think there's been a lot of catastrophizing around it that is inaccurate. Like there is a difference between going and taking a guy out and getting in a decades-long ground war in the Middle East. I also think there are differences between, when like the United States is trying to do these kinds of nation-building acts, and we're gonna change these places versus, hey, this guy is hurting American interests or has done something bad that hurts our country, that hurts our people here, and we're gonna take care of that. So it depends on the specific acts and what the justification are for them. But I think that there's been a lot of catastrophizing that I definitely don't hold. And so, and also, these people should also update their views, right?
You don't lose sleep over the intervention that caused the death of Che Guevara.
Yeah, certainly not. I wish these things were more, voluntarily funded or whatever.
Sure.
And it also depends on what the justification was. Like if you look at the actions in Venezuela, there's an actual justification here where Venezuela seized the property of Americans, right? Tens of millions of Americans have these large oil companies in their investment portfolios. They lost, hundreds of billions tens of billions of dollars. They lost tens of billions of dollars. This was a violation that Venezuela violated the NAP. They took the property of American, companies. And remember, sometimes people will give this like you're defending multinational, you're defending big corporations. Like this is where everyone in your neighborhood has money in these companies, man. That's what your 401k is. That's where all your money is in these companies. They're hurting Americans when they do this. And so the idea that my government is going to, stop a contract from being, violated. Yeah, I wish the oil company had paid for it, but this is much more just than saying, we're going to do a humanitarian intervention. Like that's when I get, so like some of the Iran stuff, you can correct me on this because I do think you follow it more than I do, but I get this vibe that's a little bit, we have to be concerned about the people of Iran. That to me is the neocon stuff, we shouldn't be
possibly doing. I see it probably because I don't actually think that Trump really cares about the humanitarian shit, to be honest. I think that that's actually just a cover because we have to deal with the Eurofags and deal with like all of the United Nations and Europe, which is actually rapidly coming to a close. And I'm going to go on a fiery monologue about how much Europeans and Canadians hate the United States here in just a moment. But Jeremy, you talk about libertarian nationalism. Let's talk about probably the most effective libertarian institution in the country, which is the Free State Project. Can you plug them for us before we go, and anything else that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Free State, I like the term Free State Movement more than the Free State Project because I'm not sure how effective the project is itself currently. Right. But the movement is absolutely crushing it right now. There's more people elected than ever. We have, I was actually just promoting a bill yesterday where we're going to end government involvement in refugee resettlement. So we're going to be cutting off all of the settlement of refugees and asylum. We're trying to stop any of those people from coming to New Hampshire. And this is our elected libertarians, who are doing this because we recognize the importance, you have a libertarian population, you get libertarian outcomes. You don't have a libertarian population, you're not going to get libertarian outcomes. So there's an incredible political machine here. It's made up of dozens of different groups. So there's not, it is a somewhat decentralized movement. There's institutions, of course, that people center around, but there's not one hierarchy, one authority that's, directing the whole thing. But anyone who's interested in winning and is into libertarian politics definitely has to visit New Hampshire at some point. We need you to come out as an ambassador, sometime.
Please, absolutely.
I don't know the last time you've been out here, but
it's been a little while. But I'd love to and bring my family as well, Jeremy. I've got a redheaded libertarian girl baby making factory here in Missouri, so we have to attend to those concerns, of course. But I will be happy to join you out there, Jeremy. Any other websites or links? Do you want people to follow your Substack? Just want to give you every chance to.
If you can follow me on Substack and get one article approximately every 8 months. You can also follow me on x.com/Jeremy Kauffman, where you'll get like 10 posts a day.
Jeremy, you're doing a great job out there, man. And it's just, you make me laugh every day. And I also learn a lot from following you over on X. So I hope people follow you on X. Have a good one.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you, guys. All right, guys. I want to start this segment with a tweet that I sent out yesterday. that apparently broke the internet. And by broke the internet, I mean it caused a collective mental breakdown from London to Berlin. All I said was this, that Americans seem to finally be waking up somewhat to how much Canadians and Europeans deeply hate us. Simple observation, right? Well, you should see the replies. It is a cesspool of angry Germans, smug Frenchmen, and polite but vicious Canadians, proving my point in real time. They are screaming at me that they don't hate us, they just hate our arrogance. They hate our lack of health care. They hate our gun culture. And most of all, they hate that we reelected Donald Trump. But here's the thing. I'm not mad about all these Euro poors attacking us. I'm relieved because for 70 years, the American right has been laboring under this delusion that Europe is our closest ally. We sent our sons to die for them. We have spent trillions subsidizing their defense through NATO so that they could spend their tax dollars on free college and 6-week vacations. And what do we get in return for it? We got sneering condescension. And the data backs me up. I'm looking at the numbers from 2025. Unfavorable views of the United States in Germany are at 66%. In Sweden, it's 79%. And our best friends in Canada, 64% of Canadians view the United States unfavorably. They hate us. They really, truly despise you. And it is time we stopped trying to buy their love and started treating them like what they are, a museum of past glories that is rapidly becoming a retirement home for civilizations. Now, I know what some of you guys are thinking. Brad, clip that. But Austin, what about the populist wave in Europe? What about the based right rising up to save the West? Let me let you in on a dirty little secret. It is a scam. The European right is politically hopeless. I tweeted this earlier, and I'm going to say it on air. The correct reason to hate Europe isn't just their liberals, it's their conservatives too. Europe will be the heart of the 1,000-year libtard Reich for many, many years to come. You look at these so-called based parties, they talk a big game on Twitter. They post cool edits of Roman statues. But the second they get a sliver of power, what happens? Do they deport the migrants? No. Do they slash the welfare state? No. They do exactly what the liberals do. They empty the public coffers to send more money to the Kyiv regime and obsess over climate goals. Look at their priorities. Donald Trump mentions buying Greenland. This is a strategic asset that would help secure the Arctic, and suddenly Europe finds its spine. They're mobilizing troops to Greenland. Germany sent a reconnaissance team. They're threatening trade wars. They're tough as nails when it comes to stopping America. But where was this energy when Putin was rolling into Donetsk? Where was this European unity when their own energy grid was collapsing? It didn't exist. They're tigers when fighting Trump and kittens when fighting actual tyrants. And don't even get me started on Canada. Now, I used to love Canada, but under the current regime, they have become the Venezuela of the North with better PR. The polls show that Canadians dislike us more than almost any other G7 nation. They're boycotting American goods because they don't like our president. Now, there is one exception, and I want to make this clear. Alberta, to my friends in Alberta, you are spiritual Americans. I see you. I know you are fighting the good fight. I saw that your elections office just approved the petition for the separation referendum. You guys are the only ones up there with any sense. Can we give it up for our friends in Alberta? But for the rest of Canada, good luck. You hate us because you ain't us. You hate us because while you are freezing bank accounts of truckers and banning handguns, we are still the last best hope of Earth. The special relationship between the United States and Canada is dead. And honestly, good riddance. Clip it. So if Europe is dead and Canada is lost, where do we go? Well, we turn the map. We look south. So while Europe is stagnating, something incredible is happening in Latin America. Look at Argentina. Javier Milei. The media told you he was crazy. 100 economists signed a letter saying he was going to destroy his country. They called him the Trump of the Pampas, like it was an insult. Well, guess what? He just posted the first fiscal surplus in Argentina in 14 years. Inflation has plummeted from 200% down to 2% a month. He took a chainsaw to the bureaucracy. He fired 50,000 government leeches, and the economy is booming. Javier Milei proved that liberty works. Brad, clip it. And look at Venezuela. The pink tide is receding. The Maduro regime has collapsed. With the U.S. intervention and the strikes on the oil infrastructure, the dictatorship is done. And you know what happens next? Cuba. Cuba survives on Venezuelan oil. That oil is gone. The Castro regime is walking dead. We are watching the collapse of communism in the Western Hemisphere in real time. This is the future, folks. Not NATO meetings in Brussels with people who hate us. The future is an all-American axis of liberty, a hemispheric alliance of sovereign nations. The United States, a free Argentina, a free Venezuela, maybe even a free Alberta, building a fortress of energy dominance and freedom. In the West, it's the best, the United States of America. So let's let Europe rot in their regulations. We have a new world to build, and we're going to build it with friends who actually want to be free. This is the dawn of the American century, part 2. I want you guys to support the Wake Up America show. You can do so for free. Click the like button if you love this stuff. Do you like it? Huh? Well, click the like button. And if today's your first time watching the Wake Up America show, we'd love to have you be a regular guest. Click the follow button as well. When you click the follow button, you'll get a notification whenever we go live, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. That's the Wake Up America show schedule, and we're sticking to it. Have you supported us with a Rumble rant? Do you want more epic rants like these? All you have to do to support the Wake Up America show is make a Rumble rant donation if you're watching us live right now, or you can go to forlibertyshop.com. That's the number, forlibertyshop.com. If you go to forlibertyshop.com, buy a box of our coffee, our Founding Flavors coffee, or anything that you like in the store, maybe a Quality Leering Center shirt from Tim Wall's fame. The Quality Leering Center. And we've still got Nate Morris, the outsider U.S. Senate candidate who just got a $10 million donation from Elon Musk himself. Will be with us at 8:30 a.m. Central. We're going to have such a great show today. You do not want to miss a single moment. Support the Libertarian Nationalist movement by going to forlibertyshop.com. Check out the FAFO collection. We've got some FAFO stickers, heritage mugs. Our latest product drops are always listed there on the front page. You can click on that funny founding father and it'll take you to the whole collection. Here, look at all of our reviews, 5-star reviews from all of our fans and supporters. They love the merch. It's super high quality, and it goes to support the show and the Wake Up America show's For Liberty Network. Let's rock and roll, boys. All right, so I want to pivot to the biggest scam in the history of geopolitics. So we've talked about how much the Europeans despise us. They look down their noses at us while sipping espresso in cafes that are protected by our missile systems. They call us warmongers while begging us to save them from Putin. They call us stupid while we pay their bills. And folks, I brought the receipts today. I want you to hear this number, and I want it to make you angry. In 2024, the total military spending of all NATO countries was about $1.5 trillion. Do you know how much of that was paid for by the United States? $1 trillion. We accounted for 66% of the total spending. We spent twice as much on defense as every other NATO nation combined. While Germany was busy patting itself on the back for finally spending a measly 2% of their GDP, we were spending over 3%. We are the sugar daddy of the West. We are the boyfriend who pays the rent, buys the car, and pays off the student loans, only to have the girlfriend go out with her friends and talk about how uncultured we are. It is pathetic. And it is the reason we are broke. The reason why we have a $35 trillion national debt is partly because for 80 years, we have subsidized the safety of a continent that refuses to defend itself. Now, this is where it gets personal. How many times have you heard a smug European or even a self-loathing American liberal say, oh, Europe is so much more civilized. They have free healthcare. They have free college. They have 6 weeks of paid vacation. You Americans working so hard every day of the year. Let me tell you something. Free European healthcare is a myth. It isn't free. You, the American taxpayer, paid for it. Think about it. Why can France afford a massive welfare state? Why can they afford to retire at 62? Because they don't have to build an air force. They know that if the Russians cross the border, Uncle Sam will be there in 30 minutes. We've spent decades effectively subsidizing their socialism. If France and Germany actually had to pay the real cost of their own defense, if they had to secure their own borders, without American carrier strike groups, their welfare states would collapse overnight. And I say, let them crash. They have generous pensions because we have expensive aircraft carriers. It is a direct transfer of wealth from the American taxpayer to the European retiree. Money is fungible. And what do we get for our money? We get called stupid Americans because we don't have universal dental. No, we don't have universal dental because we are too busy being the world's policeman so that you can sit in a cafe in Paris and complain about Donald Trump. And we need to stop this whole stupid American stereotype, please. Hold on for a moment. If you were ever tempted to follow along and like looking at some of the mouth breathers in some of these communities, it can be tempting to follow along with the stupid American stereotype. But let's look at the scoreboard. Is it who's actually stupid here? Is it the American who built the world's most robust economy? Or is it the European who dismantled his own energy grid to please a teenage climate activist and then panicked when the gas got shut off? Is it the American who defends his borders or the European who invited millions of military-age males into his country and is now shocked that his welfare system is buckling under the weight? They let themselves be invaded. They let their militaries rot. Look at the polls. 56% of Germans, 63% of Swedes have an unfavorable view of the United States right now. Nearly half of Europeans view our president as a foe. They hate us. But the moment a tank rolls towards Warsaw, who's the first person they call? They don't call Brussels. They call Washington. And let's look at the smart countries like Norway. Oh, they love to brag about their sovereign wealth fund. Look how rich we are. Yeah, you're rich because you sit on a massive pile of oil that you sell to the rest of the world while lecturing us about climate change. And even their own analysts are warning that their welfare model is facing a crisis as the population ages. They aren't geniuses. They're trust fund kids spending their inheritance. Clip it. So what is the solution? It is the Libertarian Nationalist solution. It is simple. Get out. Get out. Get the out. Let Europe defend Europe. If they are so smart and we're so stupid, let them figure it out. If they are so cultured, let them use that culture to stop a Russian tank division. We need to put our money where our friends are. Look at Japan. They aren't leeching off us. They are doubling their defense spending. They are fortifying the first island chain. They're developing their own missiles. They understand that an alliance is a two-way street. Look at Argentina. Javier Milei, he wants trade deals. He's slashing his own government. He's aligning with the United States because he believes in liberty, not because he wants a bodyguard. And that is the future of American foreign policy. We stand with the fighters. We stand with the builders. We stand with the nations that want to be partners, not parasites. Clip it. These points are so spot on. Their lives are the net result of American beneficence. Oh, thank you, sir. I said, I got the spirit of the Lord in me today. So the days of the transatlantic guilt trip are over. We are done paying for people who hate us. We are done apologizing for our strength. It's time to bring the troops home, secure our own border, and let Europe enjoy the sophisticated decline they voted for. How's that for the Austin Petersen is a neocon crowd? This is Austin Petersen. You are listening to the sound of America waking up. I need a quick little break. Nate Morris is coming up in 20 minutes, and I've run out of scripts. So got Guys, unlock the bonus content so that you can watch the bonus content instead of commercials. But as it is, you get the commercials now. Head to forlibertyshop.com. Don't you want the Wake Up America show to be live next month? Don't you want to hear what Austin's going to say about what's going to happen a month from now so that you can learn a month from now what other people are going to find out a month after that? It's the Wake Up America show. Visit the Griff Shop at forlibertyshop.com. Bitches be shopping. Capitalism, baby. It's the Wake Up America show's For Liberty Network.
When the Founding Fathers dreamed of liberty, they forgot one thing: coffee. Introducing Founding Flavors Coffee, the brew that built America, and the brew that's fueling a new revolution, one kitchen at a time. Small batch roasted, Patriot approved, and disappearing faster than a red coat at Yorktown. Don't get left behind, soldier. Real patriots are starting their mornings with Founding Flavors, and trust us, freedom tastes better with a fresh cup in your hand. Stop drinking those tyrant brews who take your money and don't support your values. Stocks are limited, demand is booming, and your morning deserves a taste of liberty. Order now at forlibertyshop.com before the next shipment gets signed, sealed, and sold out. Founding Flavors Coffee, the official brew of morning rebellions everywhere. Get yours at forlibertyshop.com.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian, and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
His move should have been to go like this if he was really afraid. Your job as a police officer is to de-escalate.
It's a split second.
No, he had no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
He was not. I'm not going to argue with you.
You're going here. You're arguing right now. What are you doing? You're arguing right
Because watch the video. He was not in danger.
Just because you're yelling doesn't mean you're winning an argument. Just because you're yelling doesn't mean you're winning. Cash.
Yeah. Just because you're alive doesn't mean you are intelligent.
It sucks that she got shot, but it's a split. You have to split.
Yeah.
And their mouth.
I want you to replay that clip in your head, that soundbite in your head. Just because you're alive doesn't mean you're intelligent. Dr. Heather Abramson. That wasn't a drunk guy at a dive bar at 2 a.m. That was a 50-year-old woman with a doctorate in education hissing at a 16-year-old boy in a taxpayer-funded classroom. That was Dr. Heather Abramson of Becker High School in Minnesota. And folks, if that clip doesn't make your blood boil, you aren't paying attention. That was the video you saw. She's standing inches from the kid's face. She's flailing her arms. She's manic. And why? Because this student had the audacity, the absolute gall, to suggest that an ICE agent who was being run over by an SUV might have been justified in defending himself. Let's look at the facts. Dr. Abramson conveniently ignored while she was yelling. The agent, Jonathan Ross, suffered internal bleeding. He was hit by the car. The Trump administration, the Department of Homeland Security, and the video evidence all confirm Renee Good weaponized her vehicle. But to the doctor in the classroom, reality doesn't matter. To her, the police are always wrong. The protester is always a saint, and any student who questions that narrative is stupid. Take a listen again.
His move.
Did we lose audio? Oh, there we go. Yeah, we did lose audio and video.
His move should have been to go like this if he was really afraid. Your job as a police officer is to de-escalate.
It's a split second.
No, he had no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
He was not. I'm not going to argue with you.
You're going here. You're arguing right now. What are you doing? You're arguing right
Because watch the video. He was not in
Just
danger.
because you're yelling doesn't mean you're winning an argument. Just because you're yelling doesn't mean you're winning. Cash.
Yeah. Just because you're alive doesn't mean you are intelligent.
It sucks that she got shot, but it's a split. You have to split.
Yeah.
And their mouth.
So this isn't teaching, right? This is spiritual abuse. This is a government agent using her power, her age, and her authority to bully a child into submission because he refused to accept her political religion. She didn't have an argument. She had a tantrum. And when the kid cornered her with logic, when he pointed out that screaming doesn't make her right, she went for the jugular. She attacked his intelligence. She attacked his worth as a human being. She's essentially a bully with a pension plan. But this isn't just about one bad apple. Dr. Abramson is the perfect archetype of what I call the credentialed midwit. She's been at that school for 32 years. She has a PhD from the University of Minnesota. She has all the letters after her name, and yet she lacks the emotional maturity of the teenager that she was screaming at. This is the crisis of the American expert class. We are ruled by people who think a piece of paper gives them the right to suspend reality. In her mind, she is the high priestess of social studies. She possesses the gnosis, which is the secret knowledge. And you are just the dirt farming peasant who pays her salary. Let's talk about this woman's history. In 2022, she publicly melted down because the school board wanted to let a conservative group speak. She told the newspaper, "I don't understand how you could think there's another side to human rights." There it is. That is the totalitarian mindset in a nutshell. There is no other side. It's like that guy I spoke to in Colorado. Stephanie will back me up here. He said, "I don't think there is such a thing as an authoritarian left." That's it, right? If you disagree with her, this Dr. Abramson, about taxes or immigration or biology, you aren't just wrong. You are violating human rights. You are a monster, and monsters don't deserve debate. They deserve to be shamed. They deserve to be called stupid in front of their peers. She doesn't see herself as a public servant. She sees herself as a missionary in a land of savages, and her job is to beat the savage out of your children. Thank you, Justin, for the $5. Credentialism is like comparing wealth in a counterfeit economy. Absolutely. Or bankrupt economy. So I want to talk about the power dynamic here of this woman and what she said to this child, because this is what really sets me off. If a male police officer got in the face of a female suspect and screamed, "Just because you're alive doesn't mean you're intelligent," Dr. Abramson would be leading the protest. She would call it violence, misogyny. She would call it an abuse of power. But when she does it in her role as a government agent, when she uses her authority to humiliate a minor, that's education. That's de-escalation. So notice how she tried to shut it down when she was losing. I'm not going to argue with you, right? While she argued with him. This is the behavior of a coward. She realized that she couldn't win on the merits because the facts are that Agent Ross was nearly killed, so she tried to pull rank. And when the kid, God bless him, didn't flinch, she resorted to the lowest, nastiest personal insult that she could find. And you know what the worst part is? She thinks she's the victim. I guarantee you right now she is sitting in the teacher's lounge crying about how unsafe she feels because libs of TikTok posted her public behavior. She's probably drafting a statement about harassment right now. No, doctor, you are the harasser. You are the aggressor. You are the adult in the room who lost control. And that kid, the one that you called stupid, he showed more composure, more intelligence, and more dignity in 30 seconds than you have shown in 32 years of quote unquote teaching. So what do? So we're watching Minneapolis burn. We are watching the federal government have to step in because the state government failed. And now we see where that failure starts. It starts in classrooms like this one. When you have a generation of kids being taught by people like Heather Abramson, people who think critical thinking is stupidity and law enforcement is murder, you don't get citizens, you get the no kings rioters, you get the mob. So this is my challenge to every parent watching in Minnesota and frankly, across the country. Get your kids out. The system is not broken. It's not broken. It is working exactly as intended. It is designed to produce obedient little activists who repeat the slogans and hate their own country. If you leave your children in these schools, you are sending them into the lion's den. And to the Becker High School board, you have a choice. You can protect this credentialed midwit because she has tenure and a union card, or you can protect the students. You cannot do both. If Dr. Abramson still has a job next Monday, then you're telling every parent in your district that it is official school policy to verbally abuse children for having the wrong political opinion. Fire her. Not because of cancel culture. Fire her because she is incompetent. Fire her because she is cruel to children. Fire her because we're done letting the inmates run the asylum. The American student is not stupid, but we are stupid. We are stupid if we keep paying for people like Heather Abramson to hate them. Boom, chakalaka. I'm Austin Petersen. This is the Wake Up America show. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Well, then let's just keep it up. All right. You guys have unlocked the bonus content. My next interview is a big get, guys. You're getting big interviews on the Wake Up America show. If you thought the race to replace Mitch McConnell in Kentucky was going to be a boring coronation for the establishment, you need to check your news feed. For months, the DC swamp has been trying to install a successor to the Senate minority leader, hoping to keep the old guard in power for another 40 years. But yesterday, the richest man in the world decided to flip the table. Elon Musk, fresh off helping Donald Trump retake the White House, fighting with him, breaking up, and then coming back together. Elon Musk has officially entered the chat. Reports broke that Musk has dropped a massive $10 million donation into a super PAC supporting the one candidate in this race who is openly running against the McConnell legacy. This changes the math overnight. The establishment candidates, Attorney General Daniel Cameron and Congressman Andy Barr, are suddenly looking over their shoulders. And guess who got the big interview? Austin Petersen did on the Wake Up America show. You want to meet this guy? You like Libertarian Nationalists? Well, you got to find him here on the Wake Up America show. Don't go away. Nate Morris, running for U.S. Senate in Kentucky. This is the For Liberty Network, baby. Huge. Can you bless me with something?
The growing zoning crackdown on data centers. The Kansas City Council voted this past Thursday to pile new zoning restrictions on data center projects. As the local public radio station KCUR reports, prior to the change, data centers could be built by right, meaning they needed no special permits or discretionary approvals from elected officials in most areas of the city. The new regulations greatly restrict the zoning districts in which data centers can be built. They also revoke the by right status of larger data centers, meaning new facilities will have to obtain special permits and be individually approved by the city council. The country is currently undergoing a data center boom. Companies are expected to pour trillions of dollars into building new facilities in the coming years. Their rapid growth has produced a predictable backlash from neighborhood activists to Senator Bernie Sanders, who's called for a federal moratorium on new data center construction. Back in March 2025, the Board of Supervisors of Loudoun County, Virginia, home to the largest concentration of data centers in the world, likewise voted to eliminate data centers' by right status in the zoning code. The board will now have a veto over new data center proposals. Heatmap notes in a recent investigation that the number of data center proposals rejected by local officials or scrubbed in response to local opposition quadrupled in 2025. As I argue in a feature for an upcoming print issue of Reason, the environmental and neighborhood impacts of data centers are vastly overstated. They're not the prettiest buildings to look at, sure, but on everything from noise and emissions to traffic and water use, they're pretty low-impact facilities. Jurisdictions largely had it right when they regulated data centers like office buildings or TV studios. Data centers are unique in how much power they use. But the most immediate solution to that would be to allow utilities and data center developers themselves to add power generation capacity. Modern American zoning codes have made it much too hard to build everything from new homes to new businesses. The rising backlash to data center development could strangle this growing industry as well. Imagine bringing George Washington back to life. Just to explain that in 2025, men can get pregnant, waving an American flag might offend someone, and our government is $34 trillion in debt. But that's not all, George. We have drag queen story hour for toddlers, pronouns are mandatory, and Harvard can't define woman. Oh. And we send billions to Ukraine but can't fix potholes in Ohio. You know, just normal modern empire stuff. I'm sure he'd be totally cool with it. Right after he finishes reloading. He didn't cross the Delaware for this nonsense, but you can carry on the fight with gear that would have made King George cry. Shop bold, shop free, shop for libertyshop.com. When the Founding Fathers dreamed of liberty, they forgot one thing: coffee. Introducing Founding Flavors Coffee, the brew that built America, and the brew that's fueling a new revolution, one kitchen at a time. Small batch roasted, Patriot approved, and disappearing faster than a redcoat at Yorktown. Don't get left behind, soldier. Real patriots are starting their mornings with Founding Flavors, and trust us, freedom tastes better with a fresh cup in your hand. Stop drinking those tyrant brews who take your money and don't support your values. Stocks are limited, demand is booming, and your morning deserves a taste of liberty. Order now at forlibertyshop.com before the next shipment gets signed, sealed, and sold out. Founding Flavors Coffee, the official brew of morning rebellions everywhere. Get yours at forlibertyshop.com.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back, with sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama!
Welcome back to the Wake Up America show. I'm your host, Austin Petersen. It's 33 degrees Fahrenheit in Jefferson City, but I've been hearing about a storm, a winter storm blowing across the country. But another storm of another nature is coming to Kentucky, it appears. And the man at the center of this storm is somebody that you need to know. He's a Lexington native, the founder of a billion-dollar tech company, Rubicon. They use software to clean up waste and recycling. He's a man who counts Vice President J.D. Vance as a close personal friend. He's an outsider, an entrepreneur, and now he's the man with the Elon Musk war chest. Is he a libertarian nationalist? Let's talk Turkey. Joining me now, the next United States Senator from Kentucky, Nate Morris on the Wake Up America show. Good morning, Nate, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Austin. It's great to be with you and your listeners, and thanks for having me on.
Glad to have you here. Nate, let's start with the $10 million elephant in the room. Big news. Elon Musk doesn't bet on losing horses. So when the news broke that he was backing you with an 8-figure check, did you hear the collective gasp from the McConnell machine in Washington?
You know, I'm sure it sent quite a signal to our senior senator. And but look, I think it's a new day, Austin. This is a new generation. This is new leadership for Kentucky, new leadership for our country. And I think this is what Kentuckians, and I think this is what our country's hungry for right now, is we need outsiders, we need business people, we need people that don't owe the swamp anything. You know, I'm here mostly on my own nickel, Austin. I've financed most of this campaign myself, and I don't owe anybody anything. I'm here to fight and here to bring something new and shake it up in Washington.
Talk to us a little bit about your race. I mean, your opponent's like Andy Barr, he's panicking. His campaign manager put out a statement that says, you're just burning money because you're trailing in the polls. Does that sound like confidence, or does that sound like a career politician realizing his war chest just got outmatched?
Yeah, you know, Andy Barr is just a sad backbench congressman. I mean, this is a guy that nobody knows who he is in Washington, D.C. He hasn't done anything, and he's only in this race because he lost his committee chairmanship. And look, it comes down to Austin. He owes everything to Mitch. He's owned by Mitch. This is a guy, Austin, when he was 51 years old, said that Mitch was his mentor. Austin, I don't know about you, but when you're 50 years old, you ought to be mentoring others. You know, you don't have a mentor when you're 50 years old. So I think it's a really sad state of affairs that for him, you know, he sees everything crumbling around him, and he's going to have to go take that K Street job that he's been waiting for a long time. And I'm happy to send him into political retirement. So I think it's a great day.
Now let's talk about why, right? Axios reports that Elon was drawn to your campaign because you're the only one running against the legacy of Mitch McConnell. You used to be an intern for McConnell. So when did you realize that his version of the GOP needed to be retired?
You know, when I was actually an intern, when I was working there, I said, look, this is exactly what I don't want to be. You know, I was in that office, and you've got a bunch of career political hacks. They're only concerned about their, you know, advancing themselves and their own agenda. They're not concerned about the people. They're not concerned about Kentucky. And they're mean-spirited people. I mean, these are the people that make the country cynical about politics in our country. Mitch McConnell is the prototypical career politician, somebody that's gotten rich in office, somebody that's sold out the country, somebody that's sold out Kentucky. And this is why people hate politicians and don't trust politicians, is because of people like Mitch McConnell and his cronies around him.
So you're a tech entrepreneur. We talked in this show a little earlier about the fear that AI will make people obsolete. You've created thousands of jobs with your company, Rubicon. So is the answer to the AI revolution, where robots are going to be taking over our jobs, is it a universal basic income, like people like Sam Altman are saying, or unleashing American innovation, like what Trump says? What's the solution to what Silicon Valley is saying right now will be the end of money?
You know, I think, look, there's dignity in work. There's dignity in having purpose and building something in this country. Austin, I'm proud that 19 of my family members worked in an auto plant. I grew up with the perspective of the American worker and people that build things. And let me tell you, when I see Ford trucks rolling up and down the road, I think about my family who helped build those. And we've got to get back to this to a place in our country where we're proud again about making things and helping people get access to the dream. And I don't think that's giving away free goodies to everybody. That's not what America is about, and to live the dream. And I'm fighting for the dignity of the American worker, not just their rights, but the dignity of the American worker. And Austin, it was people like my family that when things like NAFTA came in and China entered the WTO, and we had huge wipeouts of our industrial base in our country, it was people like my family that got hurt. And I saw that firsthand, and that's why I'm fighting so hard to make sure that we can get our manufacturing base back in this country. We can give people a surefire way to live the dream through a middle-class life, and giving them access to get stronger and better every generation. That's what America's about, and that's what the dream's about.
So let's talk about Minneapolis, if you don't mind, Nate. So earlier I played this clip of a teacher in Minneapolis who was screaming at her student for defending ICE. If you were in the U.S. Senate right now, what would you do to stop federal funding from going to schools that abuse children for having conservative opinions?
Well, they need to be defunded, Austin, and they need to be held accountable. They get no more money. I mean, the fact that we've been funding these crazy indoctrination camps, if you will, that pose as schools, they shouldn't get our federal dollars. In fact, a lot of these folks should be prosecuted for some of the stuff that they do. And I think this Somali fraud, and I think the stuff that you see in Minneapolis and Minnesota and everything that's going on, that's another example, like the fraud that we see with a lot of the funding that goes on to indoctrinate kids and indoctrinate our citizens. And it's got to stop. And the left has been abusing this for a very, very long time. And I'm proud of my friend Elon Musk, because I think through Doge, we saw the exposure of a lot of these crazy NGOs that were nothing more than left-wing propaganda arms. And this stuff has got to stop. And that's why we've got to get so tough with our budget and where we spend our money.
Nate, let's start with the news from Davos. Trump is telling the European elites to their faces that their time is up. He just did a monologue breaking down how the United States pays $1 trillion for a year for NATO. And I pulled polling data earlier that talked about how Europeans view Americans, and overwhelmingly, they despise us. As a senator, would you vote to cut that funding if these countries continue to treat the United States like a hostile power?
Absolutely. We shouldn't be sending money to people that wish us harm or burn our flag or don't want us to succeed. And for far too long, the people we've been funding, they've been taking advantage of us. They've been ripping us off. And I'm so glad that President Trump is standing tall in this, because it's long overdue. And Austin, we know that the global order that was established after World War II, it didn't work. It hasn't worked. It's failed. Look what's happened to Europe. Look what's happened because of their thinking of mass migration, of all the things that have happened in Europe. Those states are gone. You wouldn't bet on any European country if they were a stock or they were a business. No way. And I think it should be a wake-up call to the United States that we got to take care of our own people. We got to get our own house in order, and we've got to make America as strong as it can be. That's the solution. And you know what? Everybody else can figure it out on their own, because we're done playing babysitter for the rest of the world.
So we hear the Europeans are calling us stupid Americans while we subsidize their health care by paying for their defense. And it is grating. I live in Missouri. We border Kentucky. I imagine that Missourians and Kentuckians share a lot of the disdain right back at these Europeans who talk down to us from these ivory towers. They pay for their socialized health care plans with the money that they don't have to spend on our national defense. Do you agree with Donald Trump that it's in America's economic and national defense interests to acquire Greenland?
Absolutely. I'm so proud of the president. I mean, that's bold leadership. And if it's there for the taking, we need to take it. And I believe he sees a strategic opportunity in defending ourselves against Russia and against the likes of China. And I think him getting so strong and going after Greenland, I think it's absolutely the right thing to do. And I'm so proud that he has the strength to do that. I don't think we've ever seen an American president with this kind of strength and resolve to take this kind of action. So I'm very proud of him for that.
There's this tactic that the United States uses against North Korea where they find out which liquor that Kim Jong-un really loves and they embargo it from the country. What if we embargoed Gucci or other American luxury brands to Europe? Would you be in favor of such a policy?
Sure. Absolutely. Whatever it takes. I mean, look, these guys in Europe, they need to get the message. And they've been ripping us off, taking advantage of us for far too long. And it's unfortunate because we built Europe. We built the modern Europe. You look at the global order that was established after the war, we built everything for them. They should be thanking us every day that they're not speaking German. And, we have done so much for these folks. And for the fact that they say the things that they say, it's so offensive. And, enough is enough. And I think I'm so glad to hear the president getting so tough and so strong, because it's long overdue. Because until we get something in return, we shouldn't be writing these checks into the abyss. Like we've been doing.
You can tell how much I'm into luxury brands. I just got corrected in the chat. Isn't Gucci Italian? Yes, thank you, Drew Van Ruckle. What?
It's all the same, Austin.
Hey, wait a minute. Kentucky whiskey. There's a lot of Kentucky whiskey that makes its way overseas, I think, right, Nate?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So Javier Milei in Argentina, he's proving that slashing government works. In my opinion, he's kind of our real ally in the hemisphere. So would you support shifting away our focus on Europe, away from these ungrateful European socialists and towards our actual friends in Latin America who are fighting communism?
Absolutely. I mean, look, we've got to find and be innovative in the way we look at our allies, in the way that we look at the partnerships that we can create. But Austin, I think the bottom line is, for far too long, we've had politicians in Washington and we've had leaders in our country that have looked overseas to solve our problems. We need to look within our own borders. We need to rebuild our own country. We need to rebuild our own economy. We need to take care of our own people first before anything else. And my priority as a senator, if it's not about Kentucky or the United States, I'm not going to focus on it right now, because we are hurting so bad as a country. And, the number one thing I hear, Austin, is, Nate, I can't buy groceries. I can't go to Kroger and get my groceries. And so much of that is because of spending and because of all the inflation that's happened under the Joe Biden era that we're having to go and fix now. But we've got to get our economy right. We've got to get our country strong again. We've got to invest in our own infrastructure so we can have economic opportunity for our people first before anything else.
I'm speaking to Nate Morris. He's running for the U.S. Senate in Kentucky. He just received a $10 million cash infusion from Elon Musk, which puts him directly in our sight. When I saw that news story, I knew that we had to get Nate Morris on, and we're glad and grateful that he's here joining us today to talk a little bit about issues, national and international. The job of a U.S. senator, of course, in part is foreign policy. You seem to be a big Donald Trump supporter, Nate, and you also seem to share a lot of the same ideas that people over in our comment section agree with. We consider ourselves to be something of libertarian nationalists. I'm a libertarian kind of MAGA hybrid to some extent. You've really made inroads with the Musk people, with the Trump people for years. And I'm just curious, how do you sort of thread the needle with Donald Trump? Whereas Rand Paul and Thomas Massie have been more adversarial towards the president. Will you avoid getting into a shooting war with Donald Trump so that we don't have to deal with the same hijinks from the representatives that we send to Washington, D.C. to get things done?
Look, my admiration and love for Donald Trump started when I was a kid. I mean, my mother gave me Art of the Deal when I was 10 years old. And, I had the Trump game. I watched The Apprentice.
You had the Trump game? Oh, my God.
I did.
That's serious.
We love Donald Trump in my house. I mean, we were blue-collar folks. I mean, he was an inspiration to us. That was the dream. He was the American dream. That's what I wanted as a kid. And, look, I love The Apprentice. I loved him as a businessman, as an entertainer. And when he got into politics, it was like the perfect marriage of all those things coalescing for me personally that I admired about America, that I admired about business, that I admired about success. All those things rolled into now a presidential candidate. So it was a dream come true for me seeing a candidate like Donald Trump. I loved it.
Right, but your senior senator is in a bit of a spat. And one of the most popular congressmen, Thomas Massie, is in an all-out war with the president.
Yeah.
Would you act to mitigate that?
Well, I mean, look, it's unfortunate because, Thomas, he's someone that's made it all about himself. And if you want to make it about the movement, going out on a limb and doing the stuff that he's doing, that's not bringing people together. That's not bringing the movement together, of fusing, his side of the party with MAGA. And we had a chance to keep all those pieces together. I have great friends in the liberty movement. I love those guys, and have great relationships with them. But I'm not going to go stick my finger in their eye and give them a hard time. And I'm going to figure out the stuff that we can get along on, the stuff that we can get done together. Because let me tell you, when we unite together, all these pieces within our party, we're unstoppable. We can't be beat. And this is exactly what the Democrats want. And right now, President Trump is fighting so hard to get his agenda accomplished. And he's got to listen to this nonsense over and over again, this egotistical nonsense. And it needs to stop. And we all need to get on the same page. It's real simple.
Thomas Massie and many of his supporters have insinuated that the president is a pedophile protector. They're still attacking him over the Epstein files. What's your response to that?
I mean, that's absolutely ludicrous. I mean, that's absolutely insane. It's interesting that all of a sudden this has become the issue of the day. Jeffrey Epstein has been in the public domain for the last 15 years. They didn't say anything about it back then. So, I just think this is all just a complete distraction. This is a clay pigeon just trying to distract from the president's agenda. And look, what I would say to them is, let's all fall in line. Let's all get on the same page. We got a chance to have success here. We got the wind at our back. We have a historic mandate with President Trump's election, and we need to act on it. We need to act on his agenda and get it done to save the country. Because let me tell you, the Democrats, when they get back in power, I can assure you they're going to be united. They're going to get rid of things like the filibuster. They're going to get rid of the blue slips. They're going to do all the stuff we should be doing right now. And it's absolutely shameful that part of our party cannot get in line and get this stuff done to help the country. They are hurting the country. They're not proving a point. No one cares what they think. They need to get in line and help the country, save the country, before the Democrats get back in power. That's what I would say to them.
People like Thomas Massie and Tucker Carlson are at odds with the president on the question of Israel and its role as what some would use air quotes to describe as them being America's greatest ally. People like Representative Randy Fine of Florida are on the other side of that. They're extremely pro-Zionist. Where do you stand on the question of Israel and its role as an ally to the United States?
Look, I support Israel, and I think that they're our greatest ally in the Middle East. Now, when it comes to other issues related to foreign policy, I've been very clear. I've got an opponent that's been backing up the truck for Ukraine, and Andy Barr. I mean, Andy Barr said that Zelensky was the George Washington of our time. I mean, an absolute sham. This war in Ukraine has been a disgrace. And I think that we shouldn't be in these kind of conflicts that they don't help the American people. And Austin, I'll tell you, I was against the Iraq war over 20 years ago. And in my own party, I was seen as somewhat of an outcast because of that position. But my position has not changed, that we need to stay out of these wars we shouldn't be in and that don't benefit the American people directly.
Do you think that Israel wants the United States to be more active, more involved, more engaged in wars in the Middle East?
Look, I think we're aligned with Israel to make the best decisions as those conflicts arise, and we're going to handle them appropriately as we see fit. But I think Israel's been a great ally of the United States in the Middle East, and I stand with that position.
Nate, you're running for the U.S. Senate in Kentucky. You just received a $10 million infusion of cash from Elon Musk. That puts you up there for our eyes. We've got a lot of Elon Musk fans here in the audience. But is there? We're running towards the end of our interview. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience? Anything that you'd like to plug or an ask? Anything that we might have missed that you'd like to cover? I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, thank you, Austin. I appreciate the opportunity. Please come be part of this campaign. We are running against 40 years of incumbency with the McConnell machine. I'm running against two McConnell puppets. We know we need change. And I'm a business guy. I'm an outsider. I don't need the job. I don't need the money. I'm going there to fight and to shake it up. Come check out our website, natemorris.com. Visit me on X @NateMorris and make a donation to this campaign. We need your help. Every dollar is going to go to fight the McConnell machine and defeat it once and for all, the final boss right here in Kentucky.
There we go. Nate Morris. Hey, thank you for being so generous with your time and joining us. Good luck in your campaign. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on you, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Austin. Great to be with you.
Thank you very much. That's Nate Morris running for the U.S. Senate in Kentucky. What do you think? Good answers to the questions? Hope that you guys are enjoying the Wake Up America show today. If you are, make sure you click the like button. If you haven't clicked the like button yet, it just takes a couple seconds of your time. It's totally free, but you have unlocked both phases, the bonus content too. So it's time for the Great Grift Off. Today we're going to play Winter Wonderland. It's a Winter Wonderland by, if you go to crowdparty.app, that's crowdparty.app. We're going to play a game right now, and everybody is welcome to play the game with us. Let's go. Everybody join us right now. It's the end of the show, but we're going to play for a real game for real prizes, and everybody who's watching us is welcome to join. You don't have to be just on Rumble. You can be anywhere listening to us. Maybe you're listening to us live on Facebook. You're listening to us live on X. If so, then open up a new browser somewhere and type in crowdparty.app. That's APP. Crowdparty.app. And then type in the code 37800. We're playing for real prizes. Head on over to crowdparty.app. 37800 is your code. We can take up to 50 players. And if you want to win some cool prizes, then join us at crowdparty.app. We're all going to play a little game. It's a fun little game show mode. Whenever people donate enough money to the show during the live show, we unlock bonus content. Phase 1 was the bonus mini documentary, and phase 2 is the Great Grift Off. So here we are at the Great Grift Off, and it's time to play. Head on over to crowdparty.app, join the game. In just a few minutes, I'm going to close the entries. No more entries will be allowed. I'll hit the 30-second countdown button. You'll hear the Squid Game soundtrack. You'll have 30 seconds to get your butt into the game. C.O. Day, good luck to you, sir. Pork chop, good luck. We do have some ringers sometimes in there, it feels like, because Siggy's mom and Ashley Ann, they normally come in and they curb stomp people. We don't know if that's going to happen today. We're playing Winter Wonderland. Here comes the 30-second countdown button. Squid Game. You now have 25 seconds to join the game. Ooh, God is good. That's a new one. Bernie Sanders. He's here. Head on over to crowdparty.app. You've got 15 seconds to join the game. We're playing for real prizes. It's a quick little trivia game. It's fun. You can play it at home on your mobile device or on a computer, iPad, what have you. Head to crowdparty.app. That's crowdparty.app. JR Franklin's here. What's up, JR? Good luck to you, sir. And the game has begun. Let's play. Get ready. Get the right answer for the trivia questions. There'll be 12 rounds. The first Winter Olympics was held in which country? France, Canada, Russia. It's going to be a tough one today. The first Winter Olympics. Let's see how well we did. France was number 1. Quest got that one the fastest. If you answer the questions faster, you get more points. More trivia. Where does the Winter Festival of Lights take place? Is it in Iceland or is it in Sweden? Is it in Iceland or is it in Sweden? Where does the Winter Festival of Lights take place? It's in Canada. Ooh, only one person got it. That's interesting. Siggy's mom. She's like, I will dominate you. Trivia. Snowflakes usually have how many sides? I don't know. Find a liberal and then I'll count. 2? A left side and then another left side. I guess 6? I didn't know that. Wow, David Lee. He knows all about snowflakes, it appears. Rock, paper, scissors. It's a little mini game. You know, just playing rock, paper, scissors. Make your choice. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Siggy's mom still feeling strong. Barney Styles at number 2. In what city would you visit the Winter Palace? Yakutsk, Berlin, St. Petersburg. Almost everybody got St. Petersburg. Somebody guessed Yakutsk. Siggy's mom, she's feeling strong. At number 1, we're at round 6 of 12. Picture trivia. Get the right answer based on the image. Guess the Winter Wonderland. Where is it? Big Bear, California, Hallstatt, Austria, or Banff, Canada. Man, I have no idea. Remember when people said Banff? Banff, Canada. Wow. Siggy's mom still at number one, but David Lee and Quest are trying to eat her lunch. Which fruit is called the winter banana? Pineapple, apple, or banana? Banana. Siggy's mom, David Lee, Quest. It's actually really tight. Never heard the winter banana, me either. What is the shortest day of the year called? Winter's Day, winter solstice, December equinox. Almost everybody got it right. Round 8 is now over. Siggy is winning. David Lee could still win. Quest, maybe. Trivia, get the right answer. Where's the largest ice sculpture festival held? Lapland, Finland, Edmonton, Canada, Harbin, China, or Finns, Norway? Harbin, China, nobody got it. Siggy's mom, you are so close to winning, but David Lee is like right there behind you. Now it's time for a little game of Minesweeper. Mines. Play your game, children. Can't have your pudding if you don't eat your meat. Mines. Let's see how we did. Oh, David came out number one now. It's so close. This is like a photo finish. It's going to be like picture trivia. Guess the Winter Wonderland, the Ice Hotel. Is it Jukkasvarvi, Sweden, Lapland, Finland, or how do you like my accents? That's racist. It's Jukkasvarvi, Sweden. Siggy's mom. Oh my God, this is it. The last round, and they are neck and neck. And Quest could still win if one of them screws up. Which is the coldest city in the world? Yellowknife, Canada, Yakutsk, Russia, or Ulaanbaatar, Mongolian? What is good in life, Conan? The coldest city in the world. Yellowknife, Canada, Yakutsk, Russia. It's Yakutsk. Most of you got it. Let's see who won. Oh, it's so close. I'm so nervous. Who was it? It was Siggy's mom. Siggy's mom has got it going on. Siggy's mom has got it going on. Siggy, send us a text. We'll send you your prize. Thank you so much for everybody for competing. We're so glad and grateful to have you with us here on the Wake Up America show. We love you guys. Thanks for unlocking the bonus content. I hope that you guys will do us a favor and share us with a friend, okay? If you've got a based and red-pilled friend and they are not watching the Wake Up America show, they don't know we exist, introduce them. You know, it's amazing what you can accomplish when you talk to people in real life and not just send them a DM or a text message, to actually call someone and speak to them on the phone. I know, it's scary. Give it a try, though. You can change the world with one simple phone call. Thank you, Joni Rankin. Thank you, Quest Fanning. Thank you, Drew Van Runkle, Pork Chop, Siggy's, Joni Rankin, Drew Van Runkle, same people, and everybody else in the comments. I can see lots and lots of names if I scroll up, but I got to run. Have a great day. Love you guys. It's Wake Up America show, and this is the For Liberty Network, and we exit through the Grift Shop at thegriftshop.com. Bye, guys.
Growing zoning crackdown on data centers. The Kansas City Council voted this past Thursday to pile new zoning restrictions on data center projects. As the local public radio station KCUR reports, prior to the change, data centers could be built by right, meaning they needed no special permits or discretionary approvals from elected officials in most areas of the city. The new regulations greatly restrict the zoning districts in which data centers can be built. They also revoke the by right status of larger data centers, meaning new facilities will have to obtain special permits and be individually approved by the City Council. The country is currently undergoing a data center boom. Companies are expected to pour trillions of dollars into building new facilities in the coming years. Their rapid growth has produced a predictable backlash from neighborhood activists to Senator Bernie Sanders, who's called for a federal moratorium on new data center construction. Back in March 2025, the Board of Supervisors of Loudoun County, Virginia, home to the largest concentration of data centers in the world, likewise voted to eliminate data centers' by right status in the zoning code. The board will now have a veto over new data center proposals. Heatmap notes in a recent investigation that the number of data center proposals rejected by local officials or scrubbed in response to local opposition quadrupled in 2025. As I argue in a feature for an upcoming print issue of Reason, the environmental and neighborhood impacts of data centers are vastly overstated. They're not the prettiest buildings to look at, sure, but on everything from noise and emissions to traffic and water use, they're pretty low-impact facilities. Jurisdictions largely had it right when they regulated data centers like office buildings or TV studios. Data centers are unique in how much power they use. But the most immediate solution to that would be to allow utilities and data center developers themselves to add power generation capacity. Modern American zoning codes have made it much too hard to build everything from new homes to new businesses. The rising backlash to data center development could strangle this growing industry as well. Imagine bringing George Washington back to life. Just to explain that in 2025, men can get pregnant, waving an American flag might offend someone, and our government is $34 trillion in debt. But that's not all, George. We have drag queen story hour for toddlers, pronouns are mandatory, and Harvard can't define woman. Oh. And we send billions to Ukraine but can't fix potholes in Ohio. You know, just normal modern empire stuff. I'm sure he'd be totally cool with it. Right after he finishes reloading. He didn't cross the Delaware for this nonsense, but you can carry on the fight with gear that would have made King George cry. Shop bold, shop free, shop4libertyshop.com.